Alright, don't mind that. Can't exactly control acne. Um, but, sorry, I was eating Skittles for a second. So, I'm gonna re-review both movies once they, or you know what? Eventually. So yeah, I'm gonna re-review both movies once Avengers EndGame comes out, for a home release, which I don't know when that is. Certain sources are saying July, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm gonna re-review both movies once EndGame comes out because Avengers: Infinity War is part 1 and EndGame is part 2, as most of you guys know. So I'm gonna re-review both part 1 and 2. But meanwhile, let me just recap you on Infinity War. You guys probably shouldn't have a problem with that, but still, just skip, like, I don't know, 45 seconds. So, Avengers Infinity War opens up with all the Asgardians being attacked by Thanos. Some of them make it, as revealed in EndGame and interviews for EndGame. But a lot of them are gone. Korg and Meek, they apparently escaped. And Loki gets his neck snapped by Thanos. Thor gets stranded in space. Not in a ship, he just survived somehow. And the Guardians find him, whereas Hulk gets sent into Doctor Strange's mansion. The Sanctum Sanctorum. And fast forward a little bit. Iron Man and Spider-Man go to space. Fast forward a little bit again. They fight with the help of the Guardians, except for Thor and Rocket. They go fight Thanos on Titan. Thor and Rocket go to Wakanda and fight Thanos with the rest of the Avengers, pretty much, with the exception of Hawkeye and Ant-Man, as we see in EndGame. Thor stabs Thanos in the chest, says, "I told you were going to die for that," referring to when Thanos killed Loki. And then Thanos, you should have aimed for the head, I guess I should say. But, go on to Google right now. There's an Easter egg if you type in Thanos and tap the Infinity Gauntlet. Anyways, so just Google search the word Thanos, and then you'll find the Infinity Gauntlet, and you tap that. But there you go. Anyways, there you go. You're all set up. Everyone dusts. Everyone dies. There you go. That's the abrupt version of it. That was way more than 45 seconds, so I apologize. But on to the actual review of EndGame, which is what you guys came here to see, probably. Sorry about that, but not sorry, because I needed to recap some of you guys, probably. I don't know. But I thought this movie was great. The best Marvel movie ever. People are saying it's not as good as Winter Soldier, and I'm like... I'm just like, there's really no competition there. Oh, I'm still sick. A little bit. I'm getting better. But really, there's no competition there. It's just the best. But this movie is really good because, and there are spoilers in this review. I hope I haven't spoiled anything already. That would suck. But this movie is great. It just, it's an emotional roller coaster. There are moments where you're happy, you're going to be sad, you're going to be laughing, you're going to go back to being sad, and then a return of a few familiar faces, like Jane Foster, and I'm not going to tell you how they end up there because I think it's funnier that way. You're just thinking about, like, what's Jane Foster going to do? But, yeah, Jane Foster, she returns. She had a cameo, and I'm like, or she had like a cameo on like one of the screens, and I'm like, there's no way they're gonna have her back in here, because wasn't there something with Natalie Portman and Marvel just not getting along? And then she shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Interesting. And, yeah, there are happy moments, hard to watch moments, just straight up painful moments, and just some horrifying stuff. It was really shocking when, so the Avengers, some of them, go after Thanos with the aid of Captain Marvel, and they look for the Infinity Stones. Thanos says that he used the stones to destroy the stones, and Thanos does a little bit to mock them or whatever, and Thor calls upon Stormbreaker and just chops off his head. Which I was like, what? No one in the theater expected that. It just, what? Everyone all at once collectively gasps, and then 2 or 3 people, myself as one of them, sort of mumbled out, "Holy shit!" But wow, no one expected that. So the Avengers are just beating the crap out of him. One of them removes his hand. I can't quite remember how they did that, because Thor didn't have Stormbreaker at that moment, I don't think. Maybe he did. Regardless, Thanos loses a hand, and just the whole time he's being tied down, he's just kind of grunting and groaning and stuff. And then they hold him down, and the Hulkbuster comes in and starts punching him in the face and in the chest and everything. And he's just like, "Do you know how many people you killed?" And then, blah, 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 blah. And then Thanos just loses, he just kind of taunts them a little bit. And Thor is just like, and I thought that was badass. But also just straight up horrifying. I didn't see that coming. And I see his head roll over on the ground, and I'm like, ooh. I was like, how is this not an R-rated movie? People were complaining about that too. It's like, oh, they needed to be an R-rated movie if it's going to be any good. And I'm like, did they though? Like, what are you going to do? Show just a little bit more blood? They chopped his head off. What do you need an R rating for? To blow his brains out? I don't know. Yeah. And that was just horrifying. I was like, oh. Like, shit had gotten real, dude. And then, just little ways out throughout the movie, they start this time traveling thing, and it certainly didn't end as much as I thought, or certainly the time traveling didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, at all. Like, I had a feeling time travel would be a part of it, but it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to be incorporated. Oh, and none of those Legos, like, technically the Legos aren't wrong, but none of those Lego sets are accurate, so don't judge the movie off of those. And I knew something was weird, because I immediately didn't like the EndGame sets as much as the Infinity War sets. And I guess that's just because they're not actually part of the movie, so Lego just designed those. I don't know. There's one with the motorcycle. Oh, and I definitely don't like the figures. Like, hold up. Oh yeah, War Machine gets his own badass suit, but it's nothing like, it's nothing like the Hulkbuster Lego set. It's actually more like this thing right here. So, yeah. And then also, this set just straight up doesn't happen in the movie. None of this is ever shown. And Iron Man does not go into this giant buster thing. He could, there's no reason he can't, but, he doesn't. So, none of these sets are accurate. I mean, maybe there's one whole set. Oh, and then also look at this side. You see how they're wearing their quantum suits with their costumes on? That's not in there whatsoever. I knew that I really didn't like the way those looked, because I was like, that blue helmet does not, or Cap's blue helmet does not work with that quantum suit. And I was like, that looks terrible. And then I found out he's not even supposed to have that on. The quantum suits all have quantum helmets, except for War Machine's, which has a War Machine quantum helmet. His is the only one that looks different. Otherwise, they all look like they're wearing Ant-Man helmets. So, that was kind of just weird. So yeah, I was just like, that doesn't look right at all. But then they're doing time travel, and when they do the time travel stuff, it's just really cool. They pair up to go after the stones. They're getting all these heroes back together, and Ronan has apparently been killing guys just a lot. He never gets referred to as Ronan, but it's Ronan. Go watch one of my UMVC3 videos, and you'll look at his costume and you'll be like, that's not the same thing, but it's pretty similar, and he's got a sword now. In UMVC3, he does not have a sword, but that's not the point. It's Ronan, trust me. But then it just gets even more brutal and graphic. Like, Hawkeye goes and slashes up a dude's, one of the Yakuza's neck or whatever. Goes up and gets, he just, like, slices it. And then when the guy says, help me, I'll give you anything. And Hawkeye responds with, what I want, you can't give me. And then just... And then, before that, I'm trying to do chronological order here, but I just can't. My mind's all over the place, because this movie was amazing. I saw it opening night, and everyone... Like, the reactions in the theaters were just... Ooh. There was one guy who was just like, oh, damn. When, like, Hawkeye just killed that dude. And then... another part is where, like, right before that, he says, I'm tired of you hurting people. And then the one guy says, us hurting people? What are you talking about? And either he's just a sped, or, like, he's just really bad at lying. Because I didn't get the impression that he was, I didn't get the impression that he was lying. I got the impression that he's just an idiot. He looked very serious, like, he looked just very serious, like, I don't know what you're talking about, so, but, the movie was just, it was so much awesomeness packed into one thing, but basically, Hawkeye decides, or Hawkeye says, like, I'm tired of you hurting people. Half of all life has been erased. Now you're trying to cut that number down even lower. And then, he says, they got Thanos. You get me. And then just prepares for a badass ass kicking. Like, that was amazing. So, I was just astounded by that whole movie, man. And then, this movie's already gonna be really long. This video is already gonna be really long, I'm sorry. But, just, everything that happened was amazing. I enjoyed every second of it, which is not something I can say about the other Marvel movies. I think those movies are amazing, but I didn't enjoy every second of it like I did this one. So, and it's a 3-hour movie, so there's a lot to unpack. And technically, I don't think the movie actually reaches 3 hours because of credits being like 15 minutes. So the fact of the matter is, the movie is 3 hours and 1 minute. The credits are like, the flashy credits are like 5 minutes, and the other credits are like 10 minutes. So I don't think it ever actually reaches 3 hours, but it's still a long movie. And it was worth the wait and whatever. It lived up to the hype. It's a solid conclusion to everything we've known so far. They go ahead and do some retcons. Tilda Swinton's character, the Ancient One, apparently they retcon her into being in the Battle of New York. It doesn't change anything. It's really cool, and you would think that if she was in New York, which she's supposed to be, she would have been fighting the Chitauri, but we didn't actually see her. And the second I saw the Chitauri, I was like, whoa. And then when I saw the Avengers in the circle from the first movie, I was like, cool. And there's also this one part where Hulk beats up a Chitauri, and then like he punches him to the ground, then he throws a car at him, then he stomps the car, and lets the other two Chitauri guys get away. And I was just like, screw you guys in particular. Or screw you in particular. It was just... The movie was funny. And then there's this one part where Hulk is just like... I guess it's a bit, what was it? I can't remember the word he used. But he's just like, whatever. I guess it's a bit embarrassing, but whatever. And then he just, like, punches, like, a car, like, very lazily. He's just like, ah. And then just, ah. And then he just goes, ah. And then he goes to talk to the Ancient One. And he's like, I'm here for Doctor Strange. And then she's like, well, you're 5 years too early. And then, hold on. Sorry, I had to blow my nose real quick. And then he goes and just attacks, or the Ancient One just goes and, she attacks, Hulk, and knocks his body out of, or his soul out of his body. Just like, and then, Iron Man makes a new gauntlet like I was saying he would. I don't know if I ever said it in a video, but I was talking to my friends and stuff. And I definitely said it in a few comment sections. But I was like, Iron Man has made a gauntlet before. Because I was in this one comment section and people were like, no, according to Death Battle, the gauntlet doesn't work unless it's in its home universe. And it's like, the gauntlet has nothing to do with it. The stones don't work. Gauntlet is literally just a glove. It's not bound to the universe or something. You idiot. And, so that guy kept cussing me out, and I'm just like, where are you getting this? If you're trying to quote Death Battle, they were reading a Wikipedia article, probably. And that's not even what they said. And on top of that, Iron Man has built several Infinity Gauntlets. Several. In this movie alone, he built 2 of them. So, I don't know what you were friggin' talking about, you sped. Whoa, I almost dropped my phone. Anyways. In Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, he built an Infinity Gauntlet for X. One of my favorite lines in the game is, give the stones to X. So, I don't really know how you guys forgot that. The story is done by Marvel, I'm pretty sure. Not Marvel Studios or anything, but just Marvel. So I'm pretty sure that if something happens in that movie, or in that game, we can assume it happens in the comics and stuff before. And just also, there's a bunch of comic books where he makes gauntlets. Why would the gauntlet be connected to the universe? Why would the gauntlet only work in one universe? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's a glove. Like we see in EndGame, right at the end, this is the only time I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but in EndGame, Thanos literally just takes the Power Stone off the glove and punches Captain Marvel in the face. He used the power through his hand. It's a glove that just protects him. Okay? I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. It's a glove. It does nothing. With that tangent aside, Iron Man again builds the gauntlet in this movie. But Thanos ends up taking it after the Hulk is done with it, and the Hulk tries to snap everyone back. But, oh, by the way, this Thanos is from the past. This is pre-Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos. Like, literally, this is during the beginning of that movie. During the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. We see Star-Lord doing the dance and stuff. And so once Hulk gets the gauntlet, he snaps everyone back. And earlier, Black Widow died, so he tries to bring her back, but in the manner of which she died, which was to get the Soul Stone decided she can't come back. One thing I like is, like, for a minute there, it seems like it seems like Hawkeye wants Black Widow to go, and then Black Widow wants Hawkeye to go, and they're just talking like, Black Widow says, I know what has to be done, and then Hawkeye's like, I think we're talking about different people here. And then I was like, well, that doesn't seem right at all. Why would he be fine with that? But he's not. In fact, they start a race to see who's going to go kill themselves first. They start racing, and they start taking each other out, so that way they can get down. And then eventually Hawkeye just is not well equipped enough to stop Black Widow, and Black Widow just drops. And it cuts for a second to look at Hawkeye's reaction, and then it cuts back to see Black Widow on the ground, and I was like, okay. Like, I'm still getting chills just describing it, dude. So, I was like, no. And that's how it should have been. I was worried, though, that this was going to come off like a Predator. 2018, I think, was that one. Like, the newest one. In that movie, the Predator impales one dude and then throws the other dude onto the ground, and then they just nod at each other and shoot themselves in the face. And I'm like, I know this is supposed to be a dramatic moment, but that's hilarious as hell. I can't take this seriously. You guys know the scene I'm talking about. I thought that was a good movie. Well, actually, I think it's a bad movie, but I liked it. But, you know, I was just like, how am I supposed to take that seriously? But then with Hawkeye and Black Widow trying to kill themselves, I was like, what's happening here? And then Black Widow falls, and I'm like, no! Which I didn't expect, because Black Widow has a movie coming out soon. People also want it to be R-rated, which I don't understand why it needs to be R-rated. You see Deadpool and you see Logan, and you're like, oh man, they need to do that for everything. No! Okay, that tangent aside. No. They chopped off Thanos' head. They just chopped it clean off. Quicksilver caught a bullet. Several bullets. The bullets are inside him. An R rating does nothing that they can't do, or that they're going to do, that they can't do. Decapitation, I thought for sure that would be an R-rated thing. Thor just aims for the head. That's a PG-13 movie. Okay? Watch EndGame. Look at that. No, you don't need an R rating for the Black Widow movie. Also, the origin story that people are trying to be like, oh, well, in Age of Ultron they did this thing, so you need that thing to be R rated, and it's like, but in Age of Ultron it wasn't R rated. And yeah, of course, that one was a bit more heavily censored than EndGame. EndGame really pushed the limits of the rating. But if you could chop off a dude's head, I understand that you can't have a slow-mo on the bullet going through someone's brain. But do you need that? Think about it. Do you really need that? What is it exactly that you want to see in Black Widow that can't be done in PG? I want you to answer that question for me, and then maybe I'll sympathize a little bit, and I'll be like, yeah, maybe they should do that. But do you think Black Widow wants to have a slow-motion scene where the lead character, Black Widow, just decides, yo, I'm going to shoot you. The bullet is going to go in slow-mo, and it's just going to keep going. Or I'm going to shoot you in the side of the face, and it's going to explode your eyes. Do you really need that? No, I didn't think so. In fact, they might even be able to do the eye thing, because the Punisher TV show, which actually may be R-rated, the Punisher just punches a dude so hard in the face that his eye explodes. And the same thing happened to Thor in Thor Ragnarok, so I think maybe they'll be fine. And they've also done Coulson getting impaled, They had to heavily censor that scene for sure, though. But Coulson got impaled in the first Avengers movie. Also, in Avengers 4, I was expecting to see Coulson return. That didn't happen because he's confirmed he got dusted. So that's confirmed. So I was expecting to see him there, but he wasn't. And the rumors about Ghost Rider being in the movie, they're not true. So anyways, though, Hulk snaps the gauntlet trying to bring everyone back. He says, I tried to bring her back, but I guess I can't. She's just gone. Now, maybe Hulk was expecting her to just pop up right next to her. She could still be alive. Or right next to him. She could still be alive, but I doubt it. The way they talked about it. Because they didn't even know that the gauntlet worked in the first place. They're like, did it work? But then Hulk's just like, I don't know. And then he says, I tried to bring her back. I really tried. And so I don't think they really know what's going on. She could still be alive, but I'm wagering no, and I'm wagering that the Black Widow movie is going to be a PG movie. Not a PG movie. A prequel movie. I'm just getting all on my... I'm just... My words are not coming out like they're supposed to. But yeah. And then... We see, that Thanos tries to take the gauntlet after... I'm surprised Ant-Man isn't dead, because Ant-Man goes and looks out the window and he's like, I think it worked. And then Thanos' ship from the past comes back and just fires missiles. And Ant-Man is at the epicenter of it. Like, it didn't explode on the window. I'm pretty sure the missile hit him in the face and then exploded. How is this dude alive? I mean, I guess we can blame Infinity Stone bullshittery, but, you know, still. How? And then we see, man, this video is really long. And then we see, like, all of them trying to survive or whatever, and, War Machine says, see you on the other side, buddies. And then, or maybe it's see y'all on the other side, and then Rocket just kind of gasps for air. And so it seems like they're all about to die. I didn't figure they would, though. I also didn't figure that this other character would die. If you're still watching, even though I told you there are spoilers, step off now, okay? But I didn't figure this other character would die, and I'm not going to say who until the end. But anyways, after that, it's just Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man, the Marvel Trinity, fighting it out. You have the DC Trinity, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. No, this is the Marvel Trinity, and their adventures seem a lot more personal than I've ever seen the DC characters' adventures get. But Iron Man goes in for the tackle, and then he goes up for this, his suit changes into something, similarly to how it's been shapeshifting this whole time. His suit shapeshifts a little bit, and then he says, Thor, hit me! And then Thor just uses, like, Mjolnir, because he got that back, by the way. He uses Mjolnir, and he's just, like, he charges it up, and he's like, and then zaps Iron Man, and Iron Man's like, yeah! But Thanos is doing this thing with his sword, and it turns into, like, Grievous's lightsaber skills. And it just deflects the blast. A little, well, it doesn't deflect it, but the blast is just kind of stopped. And then I can't remember what happens next. I'm blanking out on that part right now. But then Captain America jumps in and he throws his shield. It bounces off Thanos' face, and then Cap goes in for a dropkick, I believe, and then Cap is just sent to, like, when he gets back up, I was expecting him to say, I can do this all day, because that's his catchphrase. The only movie he hasn't said it in so far, that of one of, like, the more personal stories for him, is Winter Soldier. He says it in Civil War twice, and once in First Avenger. And in Infinity War, there's no opportunity for him to say it. I wouldn't consider Age of Ultron to be a personal Cap story, and I'm not really sure of anything in the first Avengers movie. I don't think that was really a more personal story for him. But in this game, he said it like once, I think, but not at that scene. But he just kind of does the same motion, like, you know. And so I was expecting him to say it, but he didn't. So that was kind of missed opportunity there. Not a major thing. Like, I'm gonna get mad because a certain character didn't say anything, or didn't say the thing I wanted him to say. Whatever. If you made it this far, though, comment. That really is America's ass, because that was funny. I'm not gonna tell you where that scene came from. But then he goes in, like when Cap gets flung out, and I think he gets stabbed in the leg at this point too. Thor goes in with Mjolnir, and this Thanos is just blocking all of these attacks. But with Cap just summons Mjolnir, and he's like, "I knew it," which is a reference to when he was supposed to be worthy in Age of Ultron, which I think is bullshit. Like half of the Avengers should be worthy of that thing. Half of them in the original movie, mind you. I don't know about Hulk because he's just a monster. Black Widow maybe wouldn't be worthy because she thinks she isn't worthy. But Iron Man, boy, is he worthy. And Cap is the worthiest man in the universe. Worthier than Thor, probably. Just saying. And, oh! Then, like, but Cap is just wombo comboing Thanos. Like, I've always wanted that, wombo combo audio to be put over the scene from Infinity War, where, Iron Man makes Thanos bleed his own blood. But I want that scene over Captain America versus Thanos even more now. Just like, damn. He beat his ass. Captain America's ass, or America's ass beat Thanos' ass. So, yeah. It was intense. But then later, he comes back with, my brain has gone to shit. But you know, when it seems like the Avengers are going to lose, they're not giving up anytime soon, but they certainly don't seem like they're going to win. And then Thanos summons his army, and you're like, oh no. But then literally the best thing out of any movie I've ever watched happens. And suddenly Doctor Strange comes back because, you know, they're back. They're not dusted anymore. So Doctor Strange comes back with everyone who died in the decimation. All of the heroes, anyways. Except for Coulson, apparently. And maybe Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, because they might have been dusted. Let's go with that. Thanos canceled them. Netflix had nothing to do with it. Thanos pisses me off sometimes. But anyways, everyone comes back, and then they start playing Keep Away with the Gauntlet right after Spider-Man says, yo, so I you remember when I got all dusty and I didn't feel so good or whatever? Well, I must have passed out because I woke up and the doctor, or the strange guy, he just says, it's been 5 years, they need us. And Doctor Strange really planned that thing out from the beginning, because I think the only reason he gave Thanos the stone is I always assumed there was a curse on it, like a hex, or there was a time gap, or a time loop. But no. The fact that he says, it's been 5 years, they need us, says right there that he planned it out, because there's no way he would know it's 5 years later, right? Spider-Man didn't seem to know that. He's shocked. He's like, dude, it's 5 years later, apparently. You know, he's just shocked. So Doctor Strange had to have planned that out from the beginning. And, this acne is spreading a lot more than I thought it was. And then he says, like, Hulk accidentally, I forgot this, but when he goes to get the time stone, he accidentally blurts out, then why did, if this is so important, then why did Strange give up the stone? And Ancient One is like, wait, willingly? I must have miscalculated something. And, so I don't think he did anything with the time stone. He literally just gave it away because that's the only way he could get the Ancient One to trust Hulk. I think that's what happened. It's the only way that he could get, because the Ancient One was like, "You're not getting this stone, you little shit." And then Hulk is like, "Strange gave it up willingly. He gave away the one thing we needed to keep from him." And then the Ancient One's like, "Wait, what did you say? I've made a mistake. He's supposed to be best of us." So he's like, "Here you go, here's the stone." I think that's literally the only reason he gave it away. I don't think he did anything to it. I mean, being that I watched the movie and nothing happened, I'm guessing that's why. He's just... Why would he do that? It was to get the Ancient One to trust Hulk or whatever with the stone. But anyways, back to the thing is, Spider-Man's coming back and he's like, "Yo, dude, it's remember when I got all dusty? Well, I must have passed out, and because the Doctor Strange guy said that it's like 5 years later and they need us. Da 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 da." And then, you know, everyone just comes back, and it's the heroic army versus this generic army. And I say generic army, but it was still really cool. Like, you couldn't have made it cooler if you had a bunch of Ultrons as well. Like, that wouldn't have changed anything for me. That was just the coolest thing I've ever seen, ever. And there's nothing that can top that, probably, ever. And, so everyone's coming over there. And I can't remember exactly who was playing Keep Away with the Stone at first. I know Black Panther had it at one point. But then when Spider-Man gets it, he's like, "Nope." And then he gets all nervous, and he's like, "Eh." And then he says, "Activate instant kill mode." And his visors go red, or his little eyes go red. And then he just starts stabbing everything. And I was like, dude, I was really hoping that was going to pay off one day. And it did. So, instant kill mode basically is just the suit. It starts doing its own thing. I was wondering what instant kill mode was since Homecoming, really. But basically, the suit just starts doing its own thing. And it seems like it just does a calculated assault on, like, what's going to kill them all. Because I doubt Spider-Man needed instant kill mode just to use his tendrils, right? I think instant kill mode literally is just the tendrils moving by themselves. I don't know what it would have been for the Homecoming suit, but in the Iron Spider suit, or I guess the Homecoming suit was the Scarlet Spider lookalike, but in the Civil War suit, I don't know what it would have been there, but it was literally just the tendrils stabbing them everywhere, you know? And until they died. I was like, that's badass. I was like, oh, dude. It's just the calculated assault of all these armies versus everyone else. And then Thanos gets the new gauntlet and says, "I am inevitable." And then he snaps. But he's like... Then he looks at the gauntlet, and he's just like... And then he looks at and sees that there are no stones, and everyone in the theater gasped as soon as he snapped. And then they started like there were three guys that were like, "Oh shit!" when he looks and sees that there are no stones. Watching it in the theater was really cool. It was really cool to see everyone else's reactions as I'm building my own opinion on it. It was just like, man, everyone loves this movie. It was super fun and super... I don't want to say cute.